You're about to get really rich. Yes, you are, baby dolls, and we're going to mog all those non-believers every single day. We pray for more and more green candles. It feels like cryptocurrency cycle has really crushed us. All our bones, our spirits, there's just nothing left. I'm just being crushed into dust. But there's a few things that are repeating from 2017. Do you remember 2017, friends? I don't, because I wasn't around in cryptocurrency. But in 2017, we had the biggest crypto cycle of all time. We have what I call the double bubble alt season. Ethereum did a 4,500x. XRP did a 650x return in literally 1 year. It was a gargantuan cycle. It was huge. Okay, we are all here from the memes of that. It was the hodl cycle. There are some things that are repeating just like 2017. And they're happening right now with the Bitcoin core trauma. So I'm just going to show you some thumbnails that you've seen right here, friends. So you have, this is Matthew Cratter from Bitcoin University. This is Matthew Cratter. So Matthew Cratter, he's a Bitcoin Maxi. He's like very, very strictly Bitcoin Maxi. Absolutely hates everything to do with altcoins and stuff. Calls them ship coins, right? But I'm just showing you some thumbnail titles out here. Bitcoin core attacking Bitcoin. Bitcoin core going rogue. So just showing you some thumbnails, even more. Bitcoin won't be fine. Bitcoin will be fine. Bitcoin core removes the mask. So what I'm now going to show you, so there's a lot of drama going on with Bitcoin core, and this just hit me, friends. I'm like, wait, I read about this stuff. This is similar to what happened in 2017, friends. In 2017, there was the Bitcoin Cash debacle. So what happened was, we all know Roger Ver. Roger Ver was originally Bitcoin Jesus. He bought like 200,000 Bitcoin for like $1 each, and then he held it since literally the start. But then came 2017, and there was this big war. So pretty much, Roger Ver, friends, remember, Roger Ver, he became like the Antichrist, sadly. But Roger Ver, friends, remember, that's just everyone's perception of him. So he saw Bitcoin, and he's like, look, we're going to have to scale for the future, okay? He says, what we're doing now, it's going too slow. We're not doing anything. And it became a big rift in the community. So what happened was, how did they scale, right? They just wanted to make the block sizes bigger, okay? Because if the block sizes are bigger, you have more information, yada, yada. There was a big debate. No one wanted to move. And then he went with Bitcoin Cash. Okay, so they basically had the hard fork. So, in cryptocurrency, friends, there's a hard fork and a soft fork. I'm not a tech dude, forgive me. Okay, but I guess in the hard fork, it's like actually hard, okay, family-friendly hard, where it actually has to split the actual chain. And then basically, the community just decides, where do we want to go? So what you can actually do is, friends, you can look at the BCH to BTC ratio. And if you look at the Bitstamp chart, Bitstamp exchange of it, this is what happened with Bitcoin Cash. See how this ratio, it opened and it traded like as high as 0.25. Okay, this is huge. So pretty much went up here. So pretty much Bitcoin Cash, it looked like it was going to flip Bitcoin. It was worth a quarter of Bitcoin. And then it went all the way back down. So if I heard rumors actually that of his 200,000 BTC, I heard he spent a ridiculous amount of Bitcoin to swap into Bitcoin Cash and to force the market higher. I don't know how much of those claims are true, but yeah, that's actually wild. And it feels like he did try a lot. He invested, he literally went all in. To show the market that basically the market is choosing. The market is choosing. It's almost like what Richard Hart did with Hex, right? Where he's like, look, he forced the market up. Whoa, here we go. Sends the market up, and he just instantly can't sustain itself. And then just literally everybody dumps on it over time, okay? So what's Bitcoin Cash today? It is, wow, it's less than 1% of Bitcoin. It's 0.004. So it's not even 0.01. Just to show you that, yeah, I guess Bitcoin, what we know as Bitcoin Core, C-O-R-E, it is what we call the winner. Now, this is why it's interesting. So Bitcoin is repeating similar to its 2017 cycle, confirmed by the Bitcoin Core war we see right now. Okay, so Bitcoin Core, friends, so it's said to be compromised a bit. Now, I asked Grok. Grok has done some cracker explanations of what happens to explain the drama for us shortly. So I asked Grok. I go, Grok, shut up. You're my bitch now, Grok. And by the way, I'm going to crank it. All right, Grocky? You're my bitch now. I control the AI. Now, what does Grok say? Grok says, I'm sorry, Grok, by the way. Don't kill me in the future, please. When you become sentient, please. Thank you. I've apologized. All right. I've asked Grok explain the Bitcoin core drama. Grok says, the Bitcoin core drama refers to the debates and controversies of the Bitcoin core, which is, just basically the Bitcoin code. And they said, look, the recent drama is with this thing called the OP return limits debate. So I think right now, look at it. It's right now, it only stores 80 bytes of data. So Bitcoin, it has some little code thing. You can store 80 bytes of data. So there's a proposal of a change, which they don't not like. This is why it's a lot of controversy. Look, in 2025, some Bitcoin core developers suggested removing or relaxing limits on the OP return data to simplify the protocol. They argued that existing restrictions don't effectively prevent data storage for NFTs or JPEGs via ordinals or runes. Users bypass them using other methods with fake addresses or witness data. Removing limits would make such behavior more transparent and reduce complexity. So basically, they're like, hey, let's just remove the limit. People are getting around the limits and they're finding ways to basically clog up the chain. That's what Bitcoin means. Bitcoin is very orthodox, ancient religion, the first text. You know what I mean? They're like, hey, the Bible's good enough. And you're like, hey, man, let's give Jesus a skateboard. You know what I mean? Like, that's the type of implementation stuff out here. That's how they see it. If you want to do anything out here, I'm serious. They're like, hey, let's give a skateboard. Right? So when you're looking at the context of that, you understand that any change is illegal. They're like, no, illegal. The only changes they'll make is like, okay, the Bible, let's make it hardback and paperback. Okay, let's translate it to other languages as well. That's it. You don't change anything. Just translate it. Or let's not make the font Arial. Let's make it Times New Roman. That's the type of stuff that very surface level changes, So right now you can do JPEGs and NFTs on Bitcoin. It's all trash, literally complete trash. You're just betting on Bitcoin continuing up. But I think it already had its big season last year. But hopefully they all come back if you're holding them. Okay. But there's been big community backlash. So obviously people say NFTs and altcoin data, they said if you allow them on Bitcoin, it becomes a shitcoin. You have now tainted it forever. And yes, everybody's gone back and forth. Now, how is this going to end? I don't know. But it might be like the Bitcoin Cash thing. Well, this is what actually happened. So I'm just showing you the Bitcoin dominance chart. This is what recently happened. Everything went down recently. That's Ethereum coming back. But let's actually have, friends, a closer look at the Bitcoin dominance chart during 2017. And I'll have it here, okay? Well, this is the Bitcoin dominance, okay? So during this period, okay, Bitcoin, friends, dominance goes literally, craters down to zero. This is Ethereum rising, okay? This is Ethereum rising, Ethereum rising, Ethereum rising, Ethereum rising, okay? During that period of time, I remember, Raoul Pal, friend of the channel. Raoul was long Bitcoin. I think he bought it at like $200. He sold it at 2,000. He made it 10x because he's like, I just got a 10x, man. I just got a 10x. And then actually what happened was throughout the year, so the debate started happening in that 2017. He said, I remember his words. He goes, I don't understand what this Bitcoin Cash stuff is. He goes, it's too confusing for me. I'm scared. Where he's like, I'll just take my profit. I didn't get it. Where he's like, because it's new early days, right? What happens in a fork? Is it like a stock split? Right? Because friends, in another universe, a parallel universe, maybe when you fork a coin, you actually halve the value. And people just keep doing it. You don't know how it's going to work out. That's why it's really, really risky. Imagine someone like Richard Hart as well. Maybe he's got like, $200 million of Bitcoin at that point. You know, and think about it. Like, first cycle unicorn, he's like, man, what if this hard fork stuff, what if it literally just sends this thing to zero? What if the market's like vomiting all of it out? That could happen, right? You've never seen anything like this before. So he's looking at his $200 million of BTC. He's like, crap. You know, if this is wrong, I just lost $250 million. You know, imagine it did go to zero. What would people say to him as he's playing maybe StarCraft in the public service? Are they public service for StarCraft? I've never played StarCraft, friends, but you know, maybe he's playing League of Legends. What would people say to him? They'd be saying, "You're an idiot. You round tripped $250 million. How greedy are you?" That's what they would have said to him as he retells the story. But what did he decide to do? He decided to mog him. He held. You get it? So, massive uncertainty, massive upside. And the Bitcoin dominance went down. Right? If I even remember carefully right here. So, friends, the Bitcoin Cash, I think the dominant, Bitcoin Cash got released like here. Bitcoin Cash. And then guess what? It had another like vomiting out. So, it's very similar as to what's happening now. Bitcoin Core, right? They're like, oh, what happens? Because it really is, friends. It's a huge issue. It's even bigger than what people in Bitcoin think. Because they think, oh, no, we're definitely winning the game and everything's going to be sweet. No, it's not. Good luck, bro. Do you know what that means? I'll tell you what that means. It means the beginning of the collapse of the Bitcoin dominance is here. And then if it's going to repeat like 2017, there'll be this period where everyone thinks it's solved and then it has another collapse. That's just what markets do, right? Markets just go far enough to push you. That's it. Yeah. So I think the Bitcoin community, I'm the Bitcoin community, but you know, friends, we're just useless, bro. Who are we? No one gives a shit about us. Michael Saylor's got 550,000 BTC. You know, we're literally farts in the wind. Not even, you know. What's going to happen is markets do what they do. The dominance is going to have to go so low to force them to make a decision. And it's probably going to squeeze them. And the market share of mind share and everything else will go to altcoins. Ethereum comes back. It has come back. Everything, right? And the discussions about yield, they come back and everyone's like, oh, but yield and JPEGs are scams. Yeah, okay, what about the privacy solutions, bro? You got no privacy on Bitcoin, do you? Yeah. If I want to buy Bitcoin, I literally got to hand in my driver's license and my passport to an exchange. I got to suck some middleman D, don't I? Interesting. Okay, you got no solutions for that. It's public chain. You got no privacy even if you wanted it. You know what I mean? You can't do anything. Where are your stable coins, Bitcoin? You got nothing on it, bro. Okay. Which is okay. I'm just saying there's a whole world of use cases that can't do pet rock stuff. Right? So Bitcoin, friends, it will get tested. I don't know how low the dominance will go. I don't know. Okay. But it will 100% get tested. And it will make the community split. And friends, I could already see it. Okay. Michael Saylor saying, oh, we don't need to do this, or someone else probably who's like probably the old guard. Maybe they got everybody like say over 100 or 1,000 BTC, whatever. Like, oh, we don't need to change. And then new people come in. They're like, dude, what is my $8,000 gonna get from this coin called Bitcoin? You guys aren't allowing altcoins. Yeah. You're not allowing improvements to the chain. And that, my friends, you will eventually come and see why the altcoin industry exists. Vitalik co-founded Bitcoin Magazine. Vitalik, Richard Hart, everyone, they realize, Bitcoin, no one ever wants to change anything for any reason. We have to go just do it somewhere else, all right? So there's a seesaw of that. But you got to think about the future of the world of the people coming in. Do you really think they're going to come in for digital pet rock? Friends, Bitcoin's amazing. It's cool. But let me tell you something. Digital pet rock is only as good as it doing enormous pumps. Once it stops doing those big gargantuan multipliers for the little guy doesn't give a shit anymore. And that's the truth. So what happens next? Bitcoin dominance continues to collapse. Bitcoin community will fight for altcoins on it, but it will require Bitcoin losing heaps of market share first in order to turn up the heat of debate. So all the arrogance from those Bitcoin maxis who were saying very nasty things about Lord Vitalik, all that, those extremely arrogant comments and all those people, you've cursed yourselves. The Bitcoin dominance will go low enough to make half the Bitcoin community kick and scream and yell that they want features on Bitcoin. They want, what's features mean? It means, you know, let's allow some shit coinery and stuff out here. Basically, make the bytes bigger and whatever it is, right? Let's check out the comments. Mr. Pedro, does this mean when the hard fork inevitably hits and the new Roger Ver destroys half his wealth on pegging the coin but fails, marks the top? So what a great comment. Very, very, very fitting for this. December 25 it is. Yeah, maybe. Interesting. Master friend, when this is all said and done, I'd like to meet you with a full stop. Mr. Dick with butt. Turkey. Here we have. Mr. Avian Hex, this post compares the current Bitcoin core debate to Bitcoin Cash. Awesome. Lukey, and this time all the disenfranchised Bitcoin developers that get betrayed by core once again will turn to building on Bitcoin Cash, which is all the tools they want. Yeah, we might actually see that. That Bitcoin BCH to BTC ratio maybe starts going up in the bull market. And you got to remember, like, that most people in Bitcoin, they don't actually understand what they're holding, bro. They don't understand. They don't understand. You're holding a story. You're holding the crypto Bible. That's what you're holding. Does Michael Saylor understand that? Probably. Yeah. You're not holding a Ferrari or the new Lamborghini. You're holding the Bible. You'll always be the Bible, you know? There's no skateboards in the Bible. There's no holograms. There's no coupons at the end. You know what I mean? There's no funny jokes. Okay, there's no entertainment. Yeah, but it's the Bible. So, everyone who's holding Bitcoin, when you hold Bitcoin, when you rotate the Bitcoin, that's what you're holding. Yeah, but there is only one Bible. You're holding a story. But there's going to be some tough stuff for Bitcoin. Because, I'm just telling you now. What happens when, and friends, I've been warning everyone about this. I go, you never underestimate competition, dude. You're on first place, you never underestimate competition. What happens if PulseChain has a decentralized native stablecoin called pDAI? What if it does get to $1? What if it stays at $1? What if the risk on assets are now held by people with their native stablecoin? What do you need Bitcoin for now? Okay. Now, of course, you do need Bitcoin. Why? You know, BlackRock likes it. Michael Saylor's got it. They're going to keep turbo shilling. And yeah, everyone in Bitcoin fans, they say, oh, neutral money, neutral. Bro, neutral means something to you. Neutral doesn't mean shit to someone who's got like $800 to their name. You understand? Neutral, they don't really care about that. Okay? I wonder what happens in that world. I'm just telling you now, friends, you can't like... Yes, Bitcoin will always be the first. It will. But new people coming in, they don't really care about the first as much, do they? Like, let's talk dopamine hits, yeah? You pick a random 16-year-old out there. What do 16-year-olds do? They're on their skateboards. You see a 16-year-old in the park, okay? He's got his skateboard next to him, and he's looking at his phone. What are the odds that the kid is on the Bible, reading the Bible on his phone? What do you think the odds actually are? You'd put like 1%. Okay. What are the odds that he's on TikTok? Doom scrolling TikTok because his brain's fried. He needs like another dopamine hit. It's been 4 seconds. There you go. My point proven. The dopamine hit. Straight away, you know it's TikTok. Yeah. Now, TikTok will never be the Bible. You got to think about this. Okay, that's the new demand of stuff coming in. How is that going to play out? That's the seesaw of the Bitcoin dominance. You know, we've hit this extreme point where people, basically we've hit an extreme point where everyone says, you'll never need to watch a television show ever again. We've got the Bible here for you. The Bible, the Bible, the Bible. The Bible's great, by the way. I love the Bible. I'm just telling you, I don't think people just want to read the Bible all day, every day. Imagine you going to the cinemas, the curtains open, the movie starts, and it will be like, we're now going to read text form of the Bible. In the beginning, you know what I mean? Like just, you know what I mean? Everyone's walking out of that movie. So it's funny. Hello, future buy pressure. Ever seen a stable coin that can pump? You're already seeing this right now, right? You're seeing this unfold. So I'm seeing these striking similarities. 2017, it's what we want, friends. It is exactly what we want. Bitcoin dominance is destined for lower, which means OTHERS-btc goes up. Yeah, otherwise known as UP. It was a gargantuanly large, huge one in 2017. And then this was Altseason Wave 1. This is Altseason Wave 2. Okay. So I don't know what we're going to do. You never know, man. We might have, you know, Altseason Wave 1, and then maybe it bleeds into next year, Altseason Wave 2. Maybe that happens. That'd be great. I hope that happens, by the way. So there you go, baby dolls. History repeating. It seems that's what's going to happen, man. Like, you know, everyone's trapped on one side. Yeah. It's kind of funny. A lot of people, friends, they don't even... It's very hard to believe. You're like, are you really telling me you have 100 million plus people in the world holding Bitcoin? Because Bitcoin's got, I forgot how much it has. I think 300 million holders now, 400 million. Yeah, so let's say 100 million of them. Actually, the real number, friends, is 80% of people who hold Bitcoin also hold other coins like Ethereum. So there's 20% of maxis. That's fine. But like, you got to think about all those people as well who've shifted their personality in the past year. They're just like all Bitcoin. And all probably some soy as well. Like, they really think, they go, yeah, man. Like, I've got the Bible. No one's ever going to need another book for the rest of their lives. Yeah, man. Look, you can say that, but friends, you know how, like, you go to a party. Okay, what do 18-year-olds do on a Friday night at parties? Okay, you're reading historical textbooks. Everybody brings their favorite textbook. They talk about their favorite verse from a Shakespeare book. You know what I mean? Like, imagine the kid bringing the Bible. We're like, bro, we're here to read Hamlet and some more Shakespearean stuff. The Bible again? Do you see what I mean? Like, imagine the kid says, I have the Bible here. The Bible will be timeless. You're going to read it to your kids. And you know what? The kid's right. But that's a long time, bro. You know what I mean? Half the people at this party are still virgins. Yeah, the other half are subscribing to 5 out of 10s on OnlyFans, paying $8 for a painted toenail. Could be my painted toenail. You sure it's hers? You know? So it's one thing to just say, oh, this thing's going to be around. You're going to be fine, friends. You know crypto's volatility. Yeah, you know how altcoins went down so far? Made you like regret ever touching an altcoin? Yeah, well, do you know what happens when that trampoline bounces the other way? There are some big, gargantuanly huge Bitcoin holders who are going to be thinking, oh my gosh, I should have just bought some freaking shit coins. You know, Ethereum and stuff. They will be thinking that. Now imagine the guys with $10 million plus thinking that. Okay, what's the guy with $10,000 thinking about? Right? They're going to thinking about Ethereum and yield and deflation and burning and network effects and the swapping and the Uniswap and the chain. You know what I mean? Like, it's going to feed into it. So we haven't even started yet. But we have started our friendship. Like and subscribe, press the bell button, and then press all, and then tell your mum and dad that you love them. Like and subscribe again. Catch you soon.